his contribution to Bay Area music, because he's influenced now at least one, probably going on two generations of artists. And I think that I would have an easier time thinking of artists you didn't work with. So for our uninitiated listeners, those you have worked with run the gamut from Pete Townsend to the Pointer Sisters to Santana to uh, really you name it. You have MD'd the pre-telecast for the Grammys. You have MD'd the TEC Awards at the NAMM show for every year that they've had a TEC Awards, and it's what is it now, going on 24?
Well, actually, they did it a few years before I came along.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, this is my 27th year, and I think this is actually their 37th year. So 10 years before me.
There were 10 years
there
before
10
you?
years before me.
You know, see, I just think in musical years, there was not much before Larry. Evidently, there were 10 years that existed in music before Larry. Anyway, our guest today is Larry Batiste. He is not just a tremendous musician, a wonderful custodian of the arts, and a brilliant supporter of all that is really that is artistic in pursuit, but also just a wonderful human being. And I mean this sincerely when I say not just one of my favorite musicians, but one of my favorite humans.
Yeah, I so appreciate that. You are a smooth operator. I'm just watching you. So he has no script. He has none of this kind of stuff. He's just talking. That's an art in itself. That's a skill.
Well,
I appreciate you.
Because I mean it. That's why.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it sound easy, because it's easy to talk about Larry. There are a few things that I wanted to lure you over to my lair. How do you like Benicia, California?
I love Benicia. This is a beautiful spot. We're sitting here looking at boats and water, and it's just, I feel like I'm on vacation. I love your resort. Thanks for inviting me, and I'll be back.
We got drinks with salad in them.
Yeah. So what this guy leave?
Yeah. The TEC Awards are coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
So, of course, we want to talk about that. We want to talk about some of the upcoming projects. You got a couple festivals. We're excited about festivals again.
Yes, yeah.
And I definitely want to talk about your book.
Oh, thank you.
Because you have a book coming out.
Yeah.
When's it coming out anyway?
That's a good question.
Okay.
It's in post-production right now. I'm learning so much. This is my first book. It's going to come out on Oxford University Press, and which is a pretty big publisher.
Serious publisher.
And so I'm learning.
Yeah.
And so I turned the book in a little while ago. It's got to go through post-production and all this stuff that it does. So
Yeah, the editing process. And then they go through graphics, and every page gets, so with a publisher like Oxford Press, I would anticipate that it's likely that they would bring you on board, because what you're writing is not just useful for the public, but it's probably a reference book.
I hope so. They approached me because they said they didn't have that title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was actually teaching a class called at San Francisco State called The Art and Business of Songwriting.
Yeah.
Songwriting. And they said, we don't have that title. Could you write a couple of sample chapters? And I did that, and they signed me to a deal. So I'm really excited about that, and just sharing what
That's like getting a record deal off a demo.
Right,
really?
Exactly. I'm going like, why? First I questioned them, why does anybody need another songwriting book? And then, I thought, well, I have my own thing. Songwriting is not rocket science, but it's a different approach. It's a mental state. It's all those things. It's being prepared and trying to think of connecting people. I like to connect with people, and that's a major part of songwriting. Okay. So, that approach. And also, I start my book with talking about doing a inventory, self-inventory, who you are. So you can't really communicate and give to other people if you don't know who you are. Doing that self-inventory, knowing what your passions are. And it's just simple things like, am I an indoor person, an outdoor person? Do I like, fashion? Do I like whatever? So you can really express yourself in that way. And
that's missing from songwriting.
That's kind of kind of my approach to just dealing with life and translating that into song and connecting with people.
Wow.
So
I could see where that would be the void, and I could see where that would be your forte.
yeah, that's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's going okay. And then so everybody can be their authentic selves.
Right.
And without like following formulas and things like that, you know.
So the book is called The Art and Business of Songwriting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if the art is the connection part, the self-inventory and allowing yourself to realize what you have to offer, and then the connection part, and you kind of sum the art up that way?
Yeah, the art is kind of summed up that way. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, and then on the business side, you know, it's like trying to think like most people are independent artists now. That's kind of who it's for. Just thinking how maybe like a record company would think, but thinking you're about to have all these things in place for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so okay, I've written a great song. Now, how am I going to get this song out? How am I going to make people aware of the song? How am I going to build my fan base? How all those type of things that you know you're doing.
Yeah.
And so more of the same is having your own approach and not just. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but look at how people are doing things and then try to find that void and go, oh, maybe I could market to this group, whatever. And so, you know.
So, you know, I want just our audience to understand that your songwriting history really spans. I mean, you've written and recorded songs in places like Fantasy Studios and the Automat. These places don't even exist anymore. That's how long you've been out.
I'm old.
Well, let's back up to that because I'd like to talk about your songwriting start. How did you get into songwriting, and at what point did you identify yourself as, hey, I'm a capable songwriter?
Well, it kind of evolved, you know, from being a kid and, you know, go way back. We inherited a piano from my aunt, whose husband passed away. My uncle was a musician, and he would play with Count Basie and these different folks. And he passed away. And my aunt, you know, he became an alcoholic later on in his life. And so my aunt said, "Oh, it's music. I don't want any." So after he passed, I don't want anything musical in the house. So she started giving away stuff. And I was about 7 years old. So we got the piano.
Oh.
And so that was the beginning. This piano, no one was interested in music. And I didn't even know about it by itself. But piano sat in the garage for a few years. And then I started going to the garage and, you know, taking the clothes that everybody became a coat rack, you know, and started kind of messing around with it. That was the beginning of songwriting. And later on, as I was growing up, when events would happen in my life, you know, I would retreat to the piano and document whatever happened in a song. And that was healing for me. I would document that, and then I was free to go back into the world. And so
having digested your situation.
So songwriting song has always been like my medicine.
It's cathartic for you. Wow.
And so that's where it kind of started, just for me. Not thinking of it as a business or anything. So, of course, the song sucked, you know, at that point, because I'm just writing. But it started off like, okay, this note sounds good. Well, this note sounds good with this. Wow, if I play these, they sound good together. I didn't realize that was called a chord. And then, okay, I can move to this chord. And, oh, wow, then you got a progression. And that's how it kind of started. Then later on, I figured out what I was doing.
Yeah.
But that's how music and songwriting started out for me. When it became a reality is when of course, I listened to music and started picking up patterns and things like that. But I was in a group called Bill Summers and Summers Heat. And, you know, at that time, Claytoven, myself, and Bill Summers, we wrote and produced all the records.
Wow.
So I started writing.
I feel like you just jumped ahead. I feel like there's a lot of space.
It's a lot of stuff.
I was moving clothes off this piano in the garage.
You don't have that long.
Yeah. Next thing I know, I was on stage with Bill Summers and Summers Heat. We were at the LA Coliseum.
Yeah.
There was
it's almost
that show, that iconic show at the LA Coliseum where he came. It wasn't that Bill Summers that played that show. It was a big show at the LA Coliseum, iconic show. And he came out, he had like a suit. It was like a pink tuxedo, and he had shorts on.
I would have remembered that.
Yeah. I feel like you would have. Okay. So moving on. Actually, I think Confunction might have played that show, but not as Confunction.
They could have. No, we interesting enough, we recorded our records at a place called Different Fur in San Francisco. That's the same place where Confunction recorded their albums. We were recording at the same time.
Yeah.
So
how long did Different Fur hang on there? Because I remember the existence of Different Fur.
They've been around for a while.
Is it still there?
They are still there.
Oh,
I think
good.
There's different owners and stuff now.
Yeah, but they've been there for a while.
Long time.
Okay.
And a lot of people came through there. So, that was really cool. I think with that, I think that was the first hit record. The first song I wrote that actually charted, that was mine, was a song called Call It What You Want. And I co-wrote that with Kevin Toney from the Blackbirds and Bill Summers. And so that was really cool. It's interesting that, I could, write this song in my garage and then go out in the world and you look on the audience and thousands of people are singing
it back to you.
That's a reward. And you realize the power of music at that point.
Wow.
And the connection that you make with people, and this is the power of song.
That was a tremendous power to discover. How old were you right now?
I was in my 20s.
20.
Yeah.
So then that was like 8 years ago.
You're right, exactly.
So then moving forward, because your career you've done a lot of things since then. But you and your partner Claytoven Richardson, I got a great Clay story for you.
Oh, really? Tell me this.
It doesn't have anything to do with music.
Oh, that's good.
I was in my phone one day, man, and it was about I would say about 16 months ago, and I was hold on, maybe not that long ago, maybe 13 months ago, because he just celebrated his birthday, right?
Yeah, May 23rd. Yeah.
So, I have a general contracting business.
Okay.
But at the time, I was kind of hesitant, wondering if that's the move that I should make. I knew it was going to take a commitment, and I kind of doubted myself. But I was in my phone and I was looking, and I just came across his phone number. And I thought, you know what? I have Claytoven Richardson's phone number. How dare I not use it sometime? I've been very blessed to have a Rolodex with some really nice people.
I can imagine.
And as I rolled past his number, I was like, you know what? Let me just call him. And I called him, and we ended up talking on the phone for about an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And man, he gave me some profound life advice. And one of those things was, come on, man, just go for it.
Just go for it.
What's going to happen? You're going to find out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And man, it's worked out very well. But I think, every time I have just a little triumph, I think about it.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing. I mean, our gig on this earth is to lift each other up. That's all we're supposed to do, to encourage and to be honest. And that's always my advice to people. It's like, okay, so you want to do this? Okay, go ahead and do it, but really be honest about your talents, your skill, about your competition, about all these type of things. Just live in a realistic world. Yeah. And then just because you're not good at something now doesn't mean you can't be good at it. But identify what that is. Yeah. And get busy.
Get busy. The two of you have been getting busy together for a while. You've been co-conspirators.
Yeah, he's just made 66. He's an old man. I'm 65. And so I'll catch up with him in August. But we've been knowing each other since about 10 years old.
10 years old.
That's a long ass time to know somebody.
Well, okay. And then your storied past, though, has that kind of epic tale where it's the two of you on opposite sides of town.
Yeah.
And, as musicians, as players, you started to get a reputation, each of you. And then you at some point had to find out what was what and who was who.
Right.
And the lucky thing, though, for the two of you is that he's a woodwind player and you're a brass player.
I'm a brass player.
So you found out in went into cut heads that the two of you could coexist.
Yeah,
Join
absolutely.
forces.
Absolutely, exactly. It was, we started off as a horn section, and then we just were friends. So we lived not far from one another when we were kids. We used to walk to each other's houses all the time, to let into writing songs. And you have somebody who got the same taste as you, and all that kind of. It was just a natural, real easy thing to do. And as we grew, we started a publishing company in the 12th grade. That's just with different bands, and now we don't do everything together. But we still have that connection. When we do. And I really enjoy the TEC Awards because that's one of the things we do get to do together.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Well, okay, let's talk about the TEC Awards because they're coming up this weekend. There's a lot happening in that awards show that needs preparation, and you don't have much preparation time.
Don't have no time.
And if those of you out there who are musicians will understand this, and for those of you who are not, or if you are on your musical path and just getting started, one thing you're going to realize is that what separates the adults in the room is rehearsal speed.
Rehearsal speed, and prep is the whole gig. I was prepping on my way here. It never stops. I'm driving here, and one of the folks we're honoring is Peter Asher.
Yeah.
And so I get the call. Oh, Peter is going to perform. Oh, really?
Wow.
Okay. And with this gig, 80% is logistics. 20% is music, and we all love music. And you just hire the best people, and you pull it together the best you can. We know that's going to happen, but it's all the logistics of, okay, Peter's going to perform. Okay, what song, what key, what's the arrangement, who's performing with him, and what's the back line, what's the, does he like, what kind of acoustic guitar does he like to play, what amp does he like to use, all these things.
Everything ready.
I want to bring my musical director. Okay, what's his name? What does he do? What does he play? Is he going to play and sing or just play? So I'm driving here on the way to the interview, getting all this information. And so that's kind of thing. Was like, oh, Susanna Cups? Oh yeah, I know her from the Bangles. She wants to sing too. Great.
Okay.
So what is she gonna? What is she? She's gonna play guitar. I said, so it's just logistics and putting it together.
Yeah.
And so, and then, okay.
Well, you also get the
rehearse
opportunity for these amazing logistics because just a few times that I've seen you do that, you've had some amazing acts. I mean,
wow, it's fun. Like you talking about rehearsing and stuff. Okay, then you got to get to that point. The logistics. How are we going to put this together and when? Can you come to the rehearsal the day before? No, I got to do NAMM interviews. Okay. Okay, we finally figured out this slot. Okay, we got 30 minutes.
Between sound check and...
we got 30 minutes on the day of the show or whatever, and coordinate that, making sure that all the equipment's there so that can happen. We start right on time and get in and out. So you're talking about doing it very quickly and making sure it's all cool. And that's kind of my gig as musical director, is making sure that everything happens. And I call Clay. Okay, this is the arrangement. Can we whip up a chart for this rather quick, that kind of thing. So.
Well, I mean, I've seen just in this situation that you described, I've seen in the last couple of years you jam with Skunk Baxter, Steve Lukather, Peter Frampton. I mean, just these things where, these are the variables.
Yeah.
Now, aside from those great big variables, you still have an awards show.
Yeah.
And so the challenge in just the most elementary part of this gig as musical director is that Larry has to tune this band up to play how many songs? It must be 30 songs.
We do 43.
43.
43 walk-ons. I try to, there's a presenter, I try to find the piece that's associated with them.
Right.
And this year they're kind of running behind on finding the presenters.
Yeah.
And so it might not quite match up, but I'll do the best I can.
Yeah. So in that case, you have to find something that's maybe it's a little generic, but
exactly.
It's got a feel.
Yeah.
And then if you think about this, so for everybody has seen this situation on a talk show or an awards show where it's a walk-up song. So let's say you have a guest, that guest is associated with a song, so you got to let the band get into this song, and it's maybe just the groove part of the song so that we can all recognize it.
Right.
But you don't know how long he's going to take to walk up there.
You don't. You just gotta be you got to be prepared to, and usually the walk-ons is pretty quick because they're right there at the behind stage.
Yeah.
Unless they're, I ain't gonna go there, but usually it's pretty quick. The thing that you don't know is when somebody wins from the audience. You don't know how far they are. You know how long it's going to take them to get to the stage.
Yeah.
So that could go on for a while.
Right.
You got to be prepared for this. I try to at least do a couple of sections of the song.
Yeah.
So
that's just that much more for everybody to learn of those 43 songs.
Yeah.
So this is great. And then in terms of you hire the band, you get these players together, everybody's a pro. How much time do you have between, okay, welcome to the gig, and all right, here we go, guys?
Yeah, we have one, it's a 3-hour show, and we have 1 3-hour rehearsal the day before the show. 1 3-hour rehearsal. Yeah, that's to run all the performances and the 43 walk-ons.
Okay.
So it's not a lot of time. So people, I don't have time to hit on everything.
Yeah.
It's just we kind of do 2 bars and okay, you got that. Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So everyone really has to. They are professional. So we send the charts ahead of time. We send MP3s, and so hopefully they've learned the song before we get there. We just kind of run it.
Yeah. Okay. So musicians out there, I'm not talking to the pros. I'm talking to the guys who practice with their band and have a good time jamming.
Yeah.
We got our co-producer Doug as a guitar player in our band. We often have songs that we pass around, and then we get there, and sometimes somebody has a wild idea, like, "Hey, this is a great song, but why aren't we doing this song by that band? Let's learn it." And I'm the drummer.
Right.
For the drummer, it's like the last thing you ever want to hear is somebody in the band go, "Let's learn it." It's like, no, we learn these songs on our own time.
We do.
Rehearsal is for rehearsing.
It's for rehearsing the song. There's that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Right.
We don't have time for it.
So if you want to grow your skill set, and if you have any aspirations at being a professional, do your homework, learn the song, rehearse at rehearsal.
Yes.
So
that's it.
Speaking of rehearsal speed, I just want to bring this up. It's not an interview question, but you know who's the bass player in our band is now? Carlos Reyes.
Oh, Carlos Reyes playing bass.
He's a bad man on bass.
He's bad boy. Yeah. He's bad boy, and he's beautiful.
He really is.
He's a great person.
He calls upon our skills.
Yeah.
Immediately.
He's a musician.
Number one.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's
the greatest.
I just want to shout him out because I know 2 of you have known him for a long
time. He's awesome. And he just shows up to things. I might have stuff for my wife's birthday or whatever. He comes, he brings his violin. Next thing you know, it's a Carlos Reyes show.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? Where is he playing? I gotta,
Yes. And if you can get away with having a Carlos Reyes show, you allow it to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
If you know what's good for you.
It doesn't take much for it to happen either. He plays his butt off.
Well, one night we were having a party, and we have our rehearsal space. I lured you all the way to Benicia not to show you sailboats. I wanted to do this podcast at our rehearsal space because it's glorious.
Oh wow!
It's like a summer club.
Wow!
And
I'll make it there.
Okay, I wanted to bring you in there, but Andy, our fearless leader in the band, we're a British rock band, and Andy is English as proficiency.
Oh, really?
And so it's a lot of fun to play all those British songs because we have a Brit singing.
Right.
So he's great for that, but he has COVID right now. So
man,
we're staying away from each other.
I love you from afar. Bye, COVID.
But one night we were having a party, and Carlos was there at the party. And then at the end of the party, when everybody was going home, he said, "I want to play." And of course, if Carlos wants to play, you want him to play.
Right.
And he looked at us and he said, "Let's play." And of course, we were like, "Well, if we get to play, let's play."
Right.
What are you going to play, Carlos? And he said, "I'll play bass."
Wow.
And we thought, "Oh, okay, Carlos is going to play bass. Well, that makes sense. It has strings on it."
Right.
And then he took that bass. And
he's badass.
He is. He's just started stomping, and we went with him.
Yeah.
And it was fun. So yeah, we've been rehearsing with him a lot. We've been getting a lot person, and we played a gig last weekend.
Hmm.
We had a great time. We got several more this summer where he's going to be playing bass.
Good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to come see you.
So, anyway, moving on to your projects coming up. You have a couple festivals coming up in Europe.
I do. You know, I've been working with the Anthony Paul Soul Orchestra since about 2018.
Wow.
And I've known them for 30 years or so. And it started off with he's producing records on blues artists like Frank Bay and other people. And I sang on those records too. And they invited me to work with DJ Walker. And we did that. And then he started inviting me to come to the Paretta Soul Festival in Paretta, Italy, and where they serve as house band.
Yeah.
And so that's really fun. And we just started that in 2018. It's been great.
And so what are you doing?
I'm a background singer, but I kind of organize the background vocals.
Okay.
Like we back up about 12 artists each year, and then they do about 6 songs each.
Okay.
So I organize all the background vocals and teach the vocals and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
so you're part arranger.
I'm part arranger with that, and with the band, I'm a co-producer and co-writer of the records. So we just did it. We did. Unfortunately, Willie Walker passed away. But we did that record in 2019, and he passed away 3 days after the record. And but that record,
right after you recorded it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
3 days later, he died in sleep. So thank God we were able to do that. And
he went out exactly on his terms.
Right on his terms. No pain, no illness, no nothing like that.
Having finished the record.
Yeah. So we were devastated. So we waited a little while. Then we came in and mixed the record, and we released it last year, July 2021. And then and it did really well. I mean, so I just came back from Memphis. We were nominated for 4 awards.
Wow.
Song of the Year, Album of the Year, and blah blah blah. So
and blah blah.
But it did really good. I'm really proud of the record. It came out in July and it's still in the top 10 of the charts and stuff. And it's almost a year later.
Yeah, wow.
So anyway, so we're writing a new record, and we've written 3 or 4 songs, and we have to pause, and we go to those festivals again. We go to Italy, and then we go to Canary Islands in Spain. Yeah. And we come back in August, and we continue doing the record. Yeah. And we'll record it in December. Wow. Then we got some.
That sounds like so much fun.
It is great, and Terry O'Dobby is going to sing with us. Oh, and she got some other surprises. Yeah.
She just played the concert.
Yeah, she just did that. Yeah. Man. And she is. She's quite amazing.
A couple weeks before that, she just sang right over here.
Terry O'Dobby, I used to, when I was younger, I was probably about 19. Terry must have been 14 or something like that. And I was teaching a little choir at a recreation center. And she was one of the kids that came in. And I heard her sing. I'm going, this is the thing. You know what? When your mother comes to pick you up, I want to talk to her. Her mother came to pick her up and said, no, this one here, she needs to be singing. She's special. She needs to do that. So that's Terry O'Dobby. And she's like my little sister.
See? See what I'm talking about, everybody? And this is we're talking about a singer of the highest caliber.
She's awesome.
Just an amazing voice, an amazing presence. And I met her at the Dazz Band show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was the first time.
She was
seen her, but I hadn't met her until then.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Yeah, she really is. Yeah. So I know a guy who I'm gonna name drop a really good name, but I'm setting this up. I know a guy who brought a band over to Italy, and one of the things that he really enjoyed was that he went to this little village. He knew an Italian keyboardist who set this up. They went to this little village, and the village set them up with a place to stay and rehearse. In exchange for, they had this event where they threw the town a concert in the town square. And so they did this in like 3 or 4 towns.
Yes.
Just where they would just travel across Italy, and they would hole up in a place for a couple weeks.
Right.
And rehearse there. And stay there in the village and then play the concert.
It sounds so similar to what we do because we'll go to Coretta, Italy, and we do our concert, our festival is like 2 or 3 days, and then 2 or 3 other days we go to little villages, like what you're talking, little town. We play in the town square.
Yeah,
you know, it's so much fun. It's so much peace, so much joy, so much love, so much music. You know, it's a whole different vibe.
Right, and pasta and butter.
Pasta, stuff I don't eat. Right.
Yeah. The person who told me about that was Stuart Copeland.
Oh,
He took a band over there with a bunch of guys, and they had fun. It was him. He wasn't even the drummer. The drummer was Pete Ray Biggin from Level 42.
Okay.
He was the singer. The bass player was Mark King.
Oh yeah.
And then they had a keyboard player named Vittorio Cosmo, and the guitar player was Adrian Ballou.
Okay, yeah.
And they just went over there to, you know what? They didn't make any money, but they were just bumming around Italy.
It's a cool vibe. We can't find a better place to bum around. Yeah. It's really cool vibe there. You know, I think a lot of people go to Europe for gigs and don't come back. Because it's the way they're treated.
Cornell Quarter.
Yeah, that's Pee-wee Ellis. You know, talking to him last time. We got rest in peace. But we were there in 2019, and he was on the gig with us, and he said, you know, I went to England and never came back home. You know, because they treat you so well. You know, and that's everything. You know, people want to feel good about what they did and who they did it with. That's everything.
Well, also, especially for some reason, England loves our soul singers more than we do. What is with that?
I don't know. I think Europe in its entirety, you appreciate us more. I think, you know, United States and domestically, we're just really trendy. You know, unless it's called an old school tour, then you expected that. Kind of like Stolen Soul, you know, it's old school, so you have that audience there. Or it's classic rock tour. Or something like that. But in general, you know, we're very trendy. And it's about your latest hit and whatever. I think in Europe, I find that they respect the artist. Once you're recognized as a great artist, it's forever. It's not about your last record, you know, and so you're accepted there. We go places in the band that I'm in, Anthony Paul Soul Orchestra, it's old school. You know, as we play soul music and blues music from the 60s and 70s. We don't go above 70s. You know, and we get there.
But you play those nice thick arrangements.
All the arrangements are cool and all that stuff. But, you know, I'm amazed that we get to Spain, Canary Islands, there's 30,000 people in the audience on the beach. And it's kids.
Come on.
Kids are 19, 25 years old. They know all the old songs. They know all the lyrics. And they appreciate it, you know, and, you know, our kids, you know, our kids are different. Well, you know, different, kids in general. The generation, the newer generation, they don't want to know the history, it seems like. I'm not saying all of them, because, you know, I think my kids are unique in that my youngest is 21. I have 21, 25, and 30. And hey,
hold on, some congratulations. Your youngest just graduated from USF.
She sure did.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're so proud of her. She's amazing. All of them have done amazing things. This one here, she spent her last semester in DC, interning at the Smithsonian, where she did just amazing work there. She came back and graduated 2 weeks later, with, you know, in the international studies. So she's done an amazing thing. Won all these,
spreading her wings out in the world, doing whatever she wants.
So, but anyway, but I was saying my kids, you know, of course, they're old souls. You know, they Aretha Franklin.
They had a different kind of exposure.
Yeah, they did. They love everything, you know, and not only bands from here, they're the bands from Scotland and bands from all over the world they're into. And I have a good time riding around with her Spotify. But who's that? And I'm saying, you know, send me that. You know, it's like stuff I never heard
she
before.
Knows what good sounds
but
like.
It's just good music. You know, and I think that if we're in a good time we're just into good music. It doesn't have to be black music or white. Kind of in the time that we were growing up, you know, it had to be this or that. You know, I think that's why I love hip hop so much. What I love about it is that it's not white or black. It's a culture.
Yeah.
You know, it's a culture, and that's what I really dig about it. You know, it's any nationality, anybody's digging it. Any, you know, gender, anything, everybody's digging the same thing. You know, so it's
international.
It's international, and I'm so happy for independent music and independent artists so that to support one another and figure this thing out. How we can make a living doing this.
Yeah.
So
well, you have figured out how to do that for quite a long time.
Yeah, just being flexible. I tell my kids, you know, if you're not flexible, it's over.
Wow.
You know, you have to be able to adjust to the room.
Yeah.
You know, the temperature.
Well, first thing is you gotta be good.
Yeah, it has to be good. Yeah.
Good.
Well, you have to know your stuff.
Yeah,
and but you have to just be open to learning new things. You know, because once you reach the top, ain't nowhere to go but. You know, so you got to keep reaching. You got to keep evolving.
Yeah, find a new top.
You got to find. Don't even look for the top. Just keep evolving and learning new things.
Yeah.
You know, so that's it. That's everything.
How are we doing on time, Joe?
20 minutes.
Okay, good. So one of the artists that we've had on the show who is an American artist and then went to Europe and did better over there was Suzi Quatro.
Suzi Quatro?
Yeah.
I remember, tell me, I kind of.
She had a hit with a guy named Chris. Oh, I can't remember.
I remember the name Suzi Quatro.
The song.
Stumbling In.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Stumbling In, that's right.
Stumbling In. Okay.
That song wasn't even really a part of her, you know, creative forces.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, hey, sing this duet with this guy. And so she did.
Mm-hmm.
And then that did pretty well. And then she played Leather Tuscadero on Happy Days.
No, okay. Wow.
But she was a rocker and she really went after it. She was a bass player.
Yeah.
And you know, there were not a lot of female bass players, although you're going to get ready to honor one this weekend.
Oh my God.
Right there. We'll talk about her in a second.
Mm.
But Suzi Quatro couldn't really score a hit on her own over here, so she went to Europe and she was so well accepted over there. She sold 60 million albums.
Mm. That's what I'm talking about.
And ain't been back.
No.
Because why would you?
No, you go where you're appreciated.
That's right.
You know, that's what you do. Yeah.
But speaking of female bass players,
oh my God.
Before we say her name, what is it? Do you have a special affinity for female bass players? Because I do.
Yeah, I do.
And what do you think it is that makes that such a thing?
Well, you know, I don't know if it's, you know, just because it's female or whatever, because I do have 3 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm beating the drum of they can do anything.
Yeah.
You know, they can do anything. So I really applaud them when I actually see them doing it and not being restricted or by whatever's been said or whatever the history is. So I'm really a big fan of girls doing everything.
Whatever they want.
Doing whatever they want.
Because that is kind of the spirit of female bass players, because it's really seen as a male instrument.
Mm-hmm. It is. And you know, we just want to get to the point where people just go, she's a great bass player.
Yeah.
And then she's not a great female bass, she's a great bass player.
Right.
Or it's great, whatever. You know, it's all kind of like what, you know, these things, like how do you feel about being the first black coach? How do you feel about being the first black rah, rah, rah?
Right.
How come?
Well, first thing is you win. Or you did win.
You know what I mean? It's
so
like,
it turns out you should have been the coach.
Yeah. You know, we just want to get past that.
We want to get past
the
that.
whole thing.
I feel like though that there is a certain sensibility that comes with gender. It's different on the bass.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna honor this weekend, you're gonna honor Carol King.
Well, it's not like the stereotype, but I think women in general are more detailed.
Okay.
You know, and you know, I don't. You know, some guys are really detailed.
Yeah.
But women in general are like they take the deep dive. You know, okay, how does this happen? You know, well, why did that happen?
I think it makes the voice on the instrument different.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think because I love bass players. I'm a drummer.
Oh yeah, like that's
I love bass
that's what I wanted to play first.
Yeah.
You know, when I took the little test in the 4th grade, they said, "Okay, what do you want to play?" And I said, "I want to play bass." And the teacher said, "We have too many bass players. Play something else." I said, "Okay, I want to play drums." We have too many.
We got even more drummers than bass players.
I want to play all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I want to play guitar. No, there are too many guys. I'm going, okay, you have to play a horn. She was a mean teacher. I said, well, what are the horns? I didn't know the horns. So she said, blah, 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 trombone. She always landed on trombone. And that's how I became a trombone player, because after 4 or 5 times, you know, I would go, what? What'd you say? Say it again. Trombone. And so I said, okay, I'll play trombone. So I became a trombone player.
Okay.
And I began to love the instrument. And,
I love the trombone too.
The sound is so unique, so fat and round, and has such a great placement in the section. I love it.
Well, I also love female trombone players. And again, I hate to separate things by gender, but there's a certain sensitivity. Like it's not just the detail, but I feel like the voice is different.
Yeah.
As much as I love, I could put anybody in there, Chuck Rainey or any bass player.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Rhonda Smith.
She
plays things that are different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rhonda's badass.
Carol Kay. Only she could have come up with good vibrations.
Good vibrations. You look at that. Good vibrations. The beat goes on. These boots are made for walking.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible.
Oh man.
It's a hickey bird.
Well, okay. Mission Impossible, I say, is one of those bass lines that is a bass line that is kind of has a masculine tone. It's aggressive.
Yeah.
So that's just her proving, well, if you want something masculine, I'll give you that too.
Yeah. Well, her story is like, she gets in with Quincy Jones, and Quincy Jones is like, what do you hear? And so she starts playing. You know what I mean? And it's so funky, it's just it's so diverse. Everything from La Bamba to 100 across 110th Street with Bobby Womack.
Did she play across 110th Street?
Oh yeah, I'm going like
that's
the more
fantastic.
It's funny. That's what I love about doing the TEC Awards is that I get to learn about all these people who are behind the scenes.
It's a history lesson.
A history lesson. Almost every show for me is a history lesson.
Yeah.
When the producer says we're going to honor Carol Kay, I said, "Oh, great! I love Carol King." He said, "No, not Carol King."
Well, her too.
And he says, "No, Carol Kay." I said, "Carol Kay." I said, "Oh yeah, the bass player, right?" He said, "Yeah." Then my gig is to do research and figure out who these people are, so I could honor them.
What was there research to do on her?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And
she's played on
so it's funny that I get to meet her, by phone and by email, and she thinks I'm her nephew because she's really good friends. She was good friends with Harold Batiste, who she says, I know your uncle, but he's not my uncle.
Okay.
But she thought he was my uncle, so she says nephew. So I said auntie. So it's like that.
That's adorable. That is adorable.
It's like that kind of thing. Harold Batiste was a great musician composer who musical directed the Sonny and Cher show TV for 15 years. So whatever.
And she did
all those things. Yeah. So it's amazing. So that's one of the perks is really getting to know these people and getting to learn all this history about them. And she's a pioneer, trailblazer.
Well, to dig into all that music too. Now you have all that history oozing through you.
Yeah. To come up at a time where there weren't female bass players, and to go through all the stuff you go through with the male producers and stuff, just to, she's really to get through all that and still make it about
fight hard. And she was raising a child.
Oh yeah, she's bad. Yeah.
But so that's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. I'm planning a tribute to her, a medley, and another phone call on the way here was the Skunk Baxter, who's going to play, and so that's really it's all good.
Yeah, we got to talk to Skunk Baxter a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
and man, what a fascinating dude.
Yeah, a nice guy.
Yeah.
But it's amazing when you meet these people who are legends in my book, and they're nice people.
They're nice.
You know, and so anyway, it's all good. I can't say enough about
He was a missile defense scientist.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's his side job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
By the way, I'm in Steely Dan and I'm in the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
I'm make sure that
Yeah, by the way.
they launch missiles at us, we're gonna catch them.
Yeah. You never know what people are up to.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah.
I also like female trombone players.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shout out Jeannie Geiger. We barely know each other. But
Yeah, that's why. You know, I've had so many lives. At one point, I was I led a high school thing. There was a grant where there was a high school program with people from different high schools, and she was one of my students.
Of course.
Of course. And but anyway, she was a little kid. She was maybe about 12 years old.
Was she playing the
She was
trombone?
playing the trombone. Mm-hmm.
Now,
And
see,
also,
that's what
Thomas Spurgeon was also in
man.
that same band. It was a little bunch of little kid badasses, you know, and they later on became who they are.
Now they're just grown badasses.
Yeah, but they were just.
Where's Thomas Spurgeon from?
I think the program was in Richmond. I want to
Okay.
think that he was in Richmond, and he was his grandmother raised him. I think.
Okay.
And she was a sweet lady, and she did all the grandmotherly things. She took him around everywhere, made all the sacrifices, and made sure he had everything he needed.
And all the
She's
opportunities.
a sweet lady, very supportive. Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
I know his work. We don't know each other, but I saw our friend Grouse Schwartz had him playing in the Soul Mechanics.
Yeah.
I was like, Thomas Spurgeon.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
We have, you know, the Bay Area is rich with talent.
So much.
So
great
much
music
talent.
here.
So much great.
And so many people who are here in great talents were touched by Larry Batiste.
I just really feel blessed to be here, to be around all this greatness.
Yeah.
You know, it's really cool. You know, I don't think I'm really great at anything. I'm just kind of a connector, put it all together. I have music sensibilities and have knowledge. I'm lucky enough to have, you know, started off as a trombone player and going to college and then making me learn all these different things. I had to study all the instruments.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that was preparing me to be a music director.
Right.
So I took a semester violin, I took a semester flute, I went through all that, but you know, I was never really great at any of those instruments.
What else among them did you like?
Well, I like the way they sound if I'm not playing them. But you know what they did for me, I got a great understanding of the ranges of all the instruments. I knew what to do, so I could sit in front of or stand in front of an orchestra or arrange for an orchestra and say, you know, this is your range, you play this. I'm not intimidated because I've played at those instruments. I know what they are, I know what they do. I'm not going to write out of their range and how it all comes together.
Right, where their sweet spot is and what their role is in the arrangement.
Yes, I can arrange for all those. I can talk to all those people. I can put it all together and have the respect of the musicians because, you know, I can speak their language.
You know what? I mean, I think I want to say just for our listeners out there and our viewers who maybe are thinking about arranging and our keyboard players. And, you know, they know the chording and they know those things. But the experience on the instrument will tell you when people need to breathe. And just those really mechanical things where you go, here's how I have to write this part because here's what this is really, really good for.
Yeah, you know, space is just as important as the notes. And what it is really just a conversation. It's a musical conversation, you know, like, you know, your teacher used to say, you know, we could all talk, but not at the same time. You know, so, you know, whoever has the solo, whoever has the melody is the lead. Everybody else's job is to accompany.
Okay.
You know, and so that's the whole gig right there. And so that person speaks for a while, then another person speaks. These are instruments. They speak, and everybody else be a support team to that. And if you look at it like your musical conversation, it all works. You know, especially in funk. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, that's what it is. It's just understanding it and listening, having big ears.
I want to ask you a question about funk because I identify as a funk drummer, and I want to convey to people who there are people who think they know what the funk is, and it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
What would you define as, like when you say this, especially in the funk, what's the most important element for a drummer?
I think that to have a solid backbeat, solid, 2 and 4, just to lay it down, to listen to sensibilities, and because a busy drummer is a mess. He's trying to do every feel that they know or whatever, but those are the real big ears. Is to listen to everything that's going around them, and especially if there's vocals happening. Just how everything fits and everything lays out, how instruments are talking to one another, and just be in your lane, and then allow all that to happen.
That's a lesson for everybody.
Yeah.
Allowing all that happen. Is there a young trombonist you're excited about?
Yeah, I haven't really been following up on. I think Jeannie would probably be my youngest person I know that I really know.
Yeah.
Is playing trombone. Yeah.
Here's what I have to say about the trombone. When you walk into a place, I remember we walked into the clock tower right here in Venetia, and there was a bigger stage than usual in that place.
Mm-hmm.
And we went, oh, there's a big stage in here. Something must be about to happen. And as you get closer to the stage, you start to see what the setup is. And I'm seeing monitors, and I'm seeing a full stage setup. Like, oh, this is a deliberate sound system. This is not just a bunch of guys who showed up with their amp. This is, they mean business. Oh, there's a truss up there, and it's got lights hanging off of it. Okay, it's a little more serious.
Yes.
Man, they must be a nice little stage band, and they must have a little show going on. And then when you look over, one second. When you see a trombone, that's when you know, oh, they're not kidding.
No, there's a little budget somewhere.
That's right. Because by the time you get to the trombone, there's a certain amount of work that band has to have gone through.
Yeah.
Before you even have a place for a trombone in that thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the trombone kind of fills out the section, unless it's like Latin music or something where there's 5 trombones or something. But that indicates that it's a section, and to me,
it's deliberate. It's arranging.
Yeah, the section is the trombone is the almost the velvet, the glue, the everything that kind of holds it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that sound that makes everything sound round.
Yeah.
So.
It is the sonic adhesive.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. I just want to recap here because we're kind of rounding third base. I want our listeners to make sure if you're going to NAMM this weekend, you will enjoy a serious treat if you come to the TEC Awards. You're going to see, you're going to see some musical greatness being celebrated and being celebrated properly by Larry and Claytoven. And who else is in the band this year?
Let's see, with Jaden Bean on drums, Luis Conte on percussion.
Oh, you got
Toshi.
Yeah.
Toshi on guitar.
Yeah.
Randy Amata on keyboards. And then the horns is Charles McNeil. You know Charles?
I know the name.
Charles, he also was Anthony Paul, but he plays in the Las Vegas Raiders band.
Okay.
But he also plays for Loud Love It. But he's awesome. And then trombone is Nick Daly, and trumpet is Tony Becerra.
Okay.
Bad boys.
Full section.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this because I don't even know what's going to happen. Like I was telling you on the way here, I'm having a conversation with Peter Asher. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. I know it's going to be good because he's great.
Yeah.
So that's what's kind of exciting to me.
Legendary record
too
producer.
is like, Peter Asher. It was Paul McCartney's roommate. Discovered James Taylor, produced Linda Ronstadt and most of James Taylor's hit records and a bunch of stuff. But I know it's going to be great. I don't know what it is. Exciting and scary at the same time, but I'm not that scared.
Okay. Well, this is the first time in I don't even know if it's happened yet, because the summer NAMM show had always happened in Nashville. But you have to go back to when they had NAMM shows in Chicago and stuff. Because as long as I've known about the NAMM show, which you got a couple of years on me,
but this particular show is usually in January. But because of COVID, the last show we actually did was January 2020.
Yeah.
And then a week or two later, COVID happened right after that. And so it's been 21 and then 22. Here we are. And they couldn't happen in January because we still have COVID fears. And we're thinking that this is the right time. We still have to watch out.
We still have to be careful. Yeah. Selfish question. Well, first I want to ask you, do you know Corey Jacobs?
Corey Jacobs.
Yeah, he's one of my dearest friends, and he's a piano player. We grew up together. He grew up in Vallejo with me. He's played with Bobby Womack.
I want to know Corey Jacobs. I think I do, but I can't replace him.
Yeah, I think you should. You guys should know each other just because you're both beautiful souls.
I'll make that happen.
And then the other thing I want to ask you, a very selfish question. Can you introduce me to Louis Conte?
Oh, absolutely. Get out of here. He's one of the nicest persons on the universe. He's absolutely beautiful people. Terrific. And he's played on thousands of records.
Thousands of records.
Now, anybody you talk about, I know him. Yeah, okay. James Taylor,
yeah.
He's
played on everybody's records.
Everybody's records,
I mean, there are drummers who have played on everybody's records. Guys like JR, Steve Gadd, Rick Marotta, those guys. And they're also wonderful, all three of them. But Louis Conte, you could say every record that JR played on, and Rick played on, and Steve played on.
Yes.
Louis Conte played on all of them.
He played on all those records. Just a nice guy, always a happy birthday, always a happy whatever. It's just love. He's good people.
Terrific.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you this weekend. I'll be heading down there on Thursday as well.
Okay.
We're going to go to She Rocks on Thursday night. Is a NAMM event, and so if you guys are going to be there Thursday night, come check it out. It's we're celebrating. Who are we celebrating? Dionne Warwick. I think, is it Gladys Knight? It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be hosted by, oh my goodness, Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm.
Yeah.
Also Glenn Hale's niece. Those who know Glenn Hale, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So NAMM this year, the TEC Awards, come out and see him. My guest today has been the great Larry Batiste.
Thank you so much.
And I can't say how great I couldn't say great enough.
I love sitting in your resort, looking out at the water and the boats. And
all right. Well, I got this place just for you.
Thank you so much. Now you leave and I'll.
Larry Batiste, everybody.
All right. God bless y'all. Hope to see you.